So welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Elisa. If you've been here before, you know that. And if you've not been here before, this channel is all about how to make your dream wardrobe from scratch. And that's basically what I do. I do pattern drafting, I sew dresses and other garments, and I take you along for the ride so you can maybe recreate some of the things that I make at home. So today is a Friday. I took a day off, which is feels a bit like a treat. It was really nice. It's already the afternoon. I thought that I would spend the whole day just drafting patterns and sewing and, you know, being productive, but I actually didn't. I took the morning off, went outside. Actually, I went shopping and I bought these pants, which I really like. I love the color. I love the straight leg. I think that looks flattering on me. Good pair of jeans. And jeans are definitely something that I don't usually sew a lot. Maybe I should try more trousers and pants and jeans, but I feel like I'm not there yet. So those are one of the few things that I still buy in shops. And I mean, I bought those because I like them and I think they look good, but I also bought them because they don't have a side seam. And I don't know if I'm crazy and I just never noticed that there are jeans out there with no side seam, but this is new to me. Like, this is some next level stuff. Because if you think about it, it's one big mirrored leg, which is kind of cool. So you have the bum and you have the crotch on either side, and then you do this. Anyways, I'm not sewing pants today, is the point. I'm actually making another dress. And I'm using this beautiful fabric. Isn't it pretty? It's a floral cotton sateen by Nerida Hansen fabrics, and I actually checked online. There's a website that you can go to if you want to buy a similar pattern or exactly this one. I bought it in an online shop from a small UK business called Fabric Godmother, which I really love. So if you're interested, you should go check them out. They have beautiful fabrics. So this is the fabric I'm working with today. It is not stretchy at all. It is relatively thin. It has a very soft sheen to it because it's a cotton sateen. I think that just kind of relates to the way it's woven. So yeah, that's the fabric I'm using. This is the dress that I'm gonna make. I love it. I love the design. I love the neck halter situation. I love the bow tie in the back, and I love the midi length. You know that I am a sucker for a good midi dress. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do today. And I'm not going to draft a flat pattern. I'm going to draft the pattern on my mannequin. So if this is something you haven't done before, stick around, because I'm gonna show you how I did. So let's get into it. Okay, I'm gonna fetch the picture of the dress real quick so I have a bit of a reference point. My Pinterest is getting out of hand. I would like to think that it's organized, but nah. Okay, here we go. This is the dress that we're making, as I just showed you earlier. So yeah, it has a seam in the center back, I can tell. The skirt has a seam in the center back at least. There's also a seam on the side. Okay, and then there's like a half moon shaped seam here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, if I can find it, hold on. So I have this very thin tape here, which I'm going to use to kind of like recreate the lines of the dress. Well, the dress has this neck halter top, which is slightly gathered here. It has a bit of a width going on that's like gathered by the strap that's going through the neckline. So I'm just giving myself a bit of guidance with these. So we'll have to then think about this width that I need to add later. So this is going to be the top. So that's the armhole at the front, and then this is the neckline. Then we have this like half moony circle like seam going on here, so it's going down like that. So this is how wide the ribbon is going to be for the bow tie in the back. I'm going to extend this line for the skirt. So here is then, that's going to be the ribbon part. So that's going to be that height. And I'm going to avoid a seam in the waist because there's none on this dress either. I think that's all I need, to be honest, in terms of taping it. Because we have a side seam, which I will just keep in mind, and we have a center back seam, and I'm not going to tape this, that's unnecessary. Okay, but this gives me a nice idea of what the top looks like, or is supposed to look like. Now, I'm gonna grab some greaseproof baking paper by Sainsbury, but I'm sure you can get it at Tesco's or Waitrose or any other supermarket, Aldi, you know, because this is a lot thinner than my craft paper roll, which makes it easier to mold it to my mannequin. So I'm just cutting off approximately how much I need. Now I'm going to start at the center front, and I'm going to pin the paper onto my mannequin like that. And then I'm going to kind of like manipulate it around, like so, and pin it on the side as well. Now that's what we have. And next I will add a dart to the bust because I feel like this is going to be needed for this to look nice. It does look like there's a dart here. I mean, the image is a bit pixelated, but it looks like there's a dart here because the flower is kind of like cut off. So I assume there's a seam. So from the apex of your bust, you just start to fold the paper down like so. So it starts to nicely fit your mannequin. And I'm going to take a pen and start to outline and trace where I previously taped my tape on the mannequin. I'm going to leave a bit more room here for the neck because I feel like that's usually most of the time something that I need to do. And then also going down the center front like this. And now, this is what you have. That's your first pattern piece, really. And now I'm going to try to cut it on the mannequin. Anything else that I'm not able to cut out neatly, I'm going to do like that. Voila, that's our first pattern piece. Nice. Now, next up, I'm going to try to create the skirt pattern on the mannequin as well, which is usually a bit trickier, but it works the same way as I just did the top. So I hope you can see this all right. Yep. So I'm taking my trusty baking sheets and I'm going to cut a section as long as I need it. Okay. And now I'm going to put it on the mannequin again, trying to make it as flat as possible here. So that's the pattern so far, and now I'm going to take the pieces off the mannequin and put it on my craft paper so I can trace it out and, you know, fix any unevenness, and then also do a bit of measuring, just making sure that it actually fits me as well, because this mannequin is like not 100% my body shape. I feel like it's a bit fuller on top than I am. And yeah, that's the next step. Now, if I want some extra width here, I will have to cut this. Okay, first thing is to sew the darts. Okay, so now we have the darts in. Up next, I'm just going to sew the bow ties for the back. So what I'm doing is I have 2 layers of fabric here. They have a bit of a funny shape because I, thought it would be a nice idea to do it on the mannequin as well, and that's kind of what came out of this. And this is the rest, which is then going to be tied up in a bow, obviously. So I'm going to leave this open and sew all around here, closing off the end with a nice corner here. Then I'm gonna overturn it. So into the machine. Then I'm going to cut that. Give it a quick press. As a next step, I'm going to attach the top to the front skirt. So removing the paper pattern. Yep. Just add a little notch here so I know where my center front is. That's the front skirt. Also here I need to determine where the center front is so it's totally even. My new trusty little pencil. Messy. And now beginning at the center front, pinning the 2 together. Hey Siri, play some Aretha Franklin. So top and skirt are joined, and now I'm going to serge this again. I don't know why I did the top previously, that was not necessary. Looks nice and neat, and now I'm gonna press it. So I think out of, you know, making things practical, I guess, I'm going to sew the center back first before I join the dress at the side seams. I know other people do it the other way around, but that's how I learned it and that's how I like to do it. I like to sew the center back with a basting stitch first and then give it a press, pressing the seam allowance open, because that also then later gives me some guidance for the zip that I want to add in the center back. And I also noticed that I didn't see this white space that I kind of like cut into my pattern piece, so I will have to make the back skirt a tiny bit narrower so you can't see this white space obviously from the outside. Alrighty, changing the stitch length and sewing the center back seam. Now, since all of the individual pieces are prepared and sewn together, I think we can now join the front and the back of the dress. So the side seams meet here, and then we have the ribbon, and the ribbon kind of goes down like this. Right, okay, so that's where this goes, and then same thing on the other side, so here. So I'm going to overlap the back skirt with the ribbon just a tiny bit so that the ribbon is on the outside, because that's also going to help with there not being too big of a gap in that little corner. And then just pinning down the rest of the skirt. And yeah, I guess we can take it to the machine. Ran out of bobbin thread. How nice would it be to have a magic bobbin that just gives you unlimited thread in whatever color you need? Somebody should invent that. Hey! So now that I've tried the dress for the first time, I can make adjustments, and that probably also involves unpicking some things like maybe the side seam or the center back, but that is okay. And I'm also actually now realizing that it would be way nicer to line the dress, because I will add a zip in the center back, and it would be nicer for this to have lining, so it's kind of like disappearing. So that's what I'm contemplating right now. So the first thing I do is I try to kind of like make sense of the weird markings that I made while I tried the dress. Obviously, if you have a person that can help you with that, that's gonna be way easier, but I'm just trying to make sense of those markings now. It's always good not to have like edges anywhere, so I'm kind of softening this out, and then I'm just guiding it towards the seam at the end. So that's gonna be the new center back seam, and I will sew it, and then I'm gonna cut back the excess. And obviously I need to make sure that the side seams are matching and not uneven. Now I also need to make some changes to the side seams, because the dress is a bit too wide around the hips, which is something I don't mind. Never mind that. The curve that I made here is just too much, so I will have to remove it a bit. And this is actually something that you will want to apply to your paper pattern if you intend to maybe reuse the pattern in the future. So it might be a good idea to transfer those changes to it. so you don't have to then again do it on your garment. Now that I've done that, I'm gonna sew that and then probably try the dress again, and then I will unpick the seams that I don't need anymore, cut back the seam allowance, and I'm also going to undo the finishing that I've done here because I want to line the dress, I think. So I'm gonna open that up again. So much excess. That's so funny. That mannequin really is not representing my body form very well. Okay, so before I open the center back again so I can slip in and try it, I'm just going to measure, and I'm gonna lock the seam here so it doesn't open further than I need it to. And I'm going to open, I think I'm gonna press it first, and then I'm gonna open it and try it. Okay, let me fill you in on where we're at. So I just sewed in the zip in the center back, and that works, so that's neat and nice. And now I am going to add the facing to the back like that. I'm gonna pin that down, and then I'm going to sew along the zip here. So when I turn everything around, the zip is hidden between the two fabric sides and looks neat and nice, and you can only see the pattern and not the zips. So that's the plan. And then once I've done that, I'm gonna figure out how to join the side seams so it looks nice and good here. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I wore it to my very first dinner party with friends in a year and felt really comfortable and chic at the same time. If you want to know what I made, this is the recipe. It's basically Gigi Hadid's vodka pasta but with gin and real tomatoes. If you like this video, please grace it with your thumbs up, and if you made it through till the end and aren't yet subscribed, please do. I have more dressmaking tutorials coming your way. See you next time!